Good morning, everybody, and a huge welcome on another Tuesday into January here in lockdown in the UK. We're here on the Timely channel. I'm Hollie Power. I'm a Timely host, Salon coach, and I am here today with somebody that I'm extremely excited to be bringing to you all. I'm just making sure that we're all live and I can see ourselves, so I can see any questions. I hope you're all having a fabulous, wonderful week. There we are live. Nothing worse than hearing yourself talking back to yourself by your phone. God, it makes you want a mouth transplant, doesn't it? Anyway, welcome everybody. Very excited to be here today to talk to this wonderful lady because we're going to be talking about something that I think all of us really need a little bit of help with, me included. Massive hands up for me today, because I can certainly do with a little bit of a helping hand when it comes to the subject that we're going to be talking about today. Now, this lady, she's an international business strategy consultant. But she's more than just a strategy lady. She is an industry leader. She's a keynote speaker. She's an awards panelist. She's a conference trainer, but she's also just a jolly, lovely lady. She's a friend of Timely. She's a friend of mine. She's a friend of Salonology, and I'm thrilled to have her here. So a massive good morning, a massive welcome to you, Valerie. Thank you so much for joining us today. Massively appreciate it.
I'm so excited to be here and be talking to you, Hollie. I think I've been interviewed by Ryan a couple of times last year, so it's just delightful when you kind of said, come on, let's get together. There's this subject we want to approach. And I was like, yes, that's for me. So delighted to be talking to you today, Hollie. I've been a huge fan of what you and Ryan have been doing over the past year. It's been amazing.
Thank you. And likewise, absolutely, I know our community are massive Valerie fans because you just have such a fabulous way of making everything sound very manageable, which at the moment, a lot of people are feeling very overwhelmed. They're feeling a little bit bowled over by it. You know, we're in lockdown 3 here in the UK, and it's a little bit, it's overwhelming. That's probably the word I'm hearing the most. And people aren't quite sure where to be focusing their time. People are going back into that homeschooling situation. There's a lot of stuff going on. So that's what we're going to talk about today, isn't it? And we're also going to do something quite exciting as a little added extra for everybody watching live this morning. We're going to be doing a little giveaway, right? This is all courtesy of Valerie. A little bit last minute, Valerie suggested that I know what I can do for the audience. Wouldn't this be wonderful? And I thought, yes, this would be fabulous. Okay, so we're going to be offering one of Valerie's management courses, digital management course that you will get access to for free as one of our viewers today. I'll be revealing a little bit more about how you can win that a little bit further on through the live video today. But before we get started, Valerie, for those in the audience who don't know much about Valerie and the Delforge group, tell us a little bit about what it is that you do.
Of course, yes. I've been a consultant for 7 years now, and the Delforge group came out of a passion of wanting to empower as many people as I could, and realized as a consultant, I can't do it on my own. It's not just about me and my experience. It's about everything that I can bring to the table. So we've now got a recruitment service that we're doing with the fabulous Gemma that's supporting us on recruitment. We're now supporting the salons through online training, through modules. So this is one of them that I wanted to give away today. On different specific targets, we're about to launch a PA service, which is linked to the time management, because we know that a lot of you kind of finding it difficult to cover everything you need to cover. Yes. We've got an HR man on board who's coming to join us literally by the end of the month. And we've also got support on everything to do with marketing, etc. Not to the extent of you and Ryan do. We're more on the strategy, kind of looking at your growth. And for me, I support managers and owners on individual coaching. So I love individual coaching. We were talking about that when we had a bit of a discussion about today. For me, is seeing a growth, seeing the change as a manager, seeing them light up and thinking, yes, I get it now, I know how to do it. but holding their hands through a journey to grow their business. And that's my strength, and that's what I love. I love seeing the growth in everyone that gets involved with me. So it's very much a one-to-one coaching, business mentoring on an international level. So it's been an incredible journey, and yeah, I'm so happy to be here today talking to you with a timely platform on one of my favorite subjects, which is time management.
We are absolutely thrilled to have you. I know I speak for Timely as well when we say we were all very, very happy about this arrangement this morning, because it's just so lovely to bring positivity into the salon industry at the moment, which, you know, is a little bit struggling. There is a little bit of, like I say, overwhelm, and people are sort of wondering where to focus themselves. So to be able to share such a wonderful insight from somebody with the experience levels that you have is just, it's just fabulous. So I know we're very, very appreciative to have you here this morning. Now, we talked about what would be best to bring to everybody, and we decided that creating a strategy that people can easily pick up and take away from this call would be really beneficial for everybody, for people like myself as well. And there's plenty of people out there in salon ownership who probably aren't that on point when it comes to time management and that sort of thing, because we are generally a very creative industry. I'm extremely creative and chaotic person. Ryan's very logical and very ordered. We're total opposites. And that means he's extremely good at his time management. It's something that I definitely struggle with. So I'm very, very excited to take some of these points away and start implementing them into my work life and my home life as well, because it does very much at the moment, it's very in cohesion with one another. We're not just living work and home, we are crossing those lines a lot, aren't we? And I think that's where a lot of the struggles come from. So I know you put together a nice little sort of 3-step strategy. So what's step one, Valerie? What can we be first looking at when we're thinking about getting ourselves in order?
So the key really for me when we talk about time management, usually I have a lot of people glazing over, like, oh, here we go. She's going to talk to me about organization. She's going to talk to me about my time. She's going to make me organize myself. So there's this massive stress about I'm having to look at how I operate and change my habits. And that's one of the most difficulty, because on top of that, like you mentioned, we are at home, we're dealing with, perhaps you have children, you've got your husband working at home, you've got, you know, a dog that you need to walk every morning and night, you've got all sorts of family things that is going on around you. So time management is always a difficult subject, we know. And a lot of people like yourself, I know I need to get better, but the minute I talk about it or the minute I read a book, I'm like, oh, do I? But really, yeah, I know. So I'm going to be good for a week, maybe 2, and then we go back into our bad habits.
Definitely.
But to me, time management is very much the key to leadership. And when I talk about leadership, because I've based the Delforge group around the Delforge 5, which is budget, reception, retail, marketing, and leadership. And leadership to me is very, very important. It doesn't mean it's just about you managing a team. It's about the leadership of you and your life. So you can be on your own, you can be working with 2 people, you can be working with 20 people, it doesn't matter. Leadership to me is a mindset, and being able to cover that mindset with what you need to do as a leader. Yeah. And, you know, having 30 years experience, and I've been a single mom for a long time, whilst my girls were growing up, I have to say, I thank God that they are older now, so I don't have to do homeschooling, because I just know it would take me about 2 hours to wake up one of them anyway, you know, before they even comprehend the fact that, oh, I'm having to get up and do some homework, you know. So I sympathize so much with all the moms and dads out there trying to, you know, organize their life in between their children. I also sympathize with a lot of people that perhaps are on their own. So they're finding it a little bit difficult to manage their mindset. So for me, leadership is very much focusing on your mindset. And the only way to get that mindset up, as far as I'm concerned, is through time management, because time management allows you to empower your thoughts, your mood, and really making you feel that you're on top of things. So whatever situation you are into, how many people you're managing, time management is a soft skill of leadership, and to me is one of the most important soft skill of leadership, alongside communication. And actually they go hand in hand when we talk about soft skill. And if you really are kind of looking at how you communicate, how you time manage yourself, and you tweak a few things, you'll find that the to-do list is the same. When I'm kind of get involved on a coaching situation, the to-do list doesn't really change. We're not changing the to-do list, but we're changing how we're managing that to-do list. And that is the key to feeling a lot better and a lot more empowered. And if you feel empowered, your team will feel empowered, your people around you will feel empowered, because they'll feel better and more kind of relaxed in the way you're approaching things. But it's down to you. Unfortunately, I can give you all the tools that you need. And, we're happy to give you all the tools, and the free principle, which is number one, is really understand the principle of time management. But the bottom line is going to be down to you. So it's down to you to get that mindset.
And this is so relevant for everybody watching who is at home, and also who may have their own team at home. When you've got kids at home and the dog to manage and the husband to manage, probably every chance of the husband sitting set up with his computer on furlough, working from home full time, and still believes that's sort of like his full-time job. He's at the office. This is, a typical scenario I hear about a lot. And that mum is trying to manage everything else, as well as still staying on top of her, keeping her business going so that she can reopen stronger at the other side of this. And you talk, about managing your team. And I guess all this applies leadership for your home, and how you run your home, and how you keep your kids focused, and how they stay sort of on track with what they need to be doing to give you the free time to work on the other bits that you want to work on as well, whether that's business or whether that's personal, whether it's self-care. It's all encompassing, isn't it, what you're talking about here? It's so relevant to every element of our lives right now, from what time you wake up to what time you go to bed. It's all very relevant, isn't it?
But to be honest with you, it's more relevant than ever now, because we, like you said, we are at home and we're kind of managing everything from home. But I've always talked about leadership from the minute I became a consultant. It's the first thing I make the manager do. Look at your leadership, look at your soft skills of leadership, which are your time management and communication. They're the two skills we've got to master in order to kind of get everything ready. Because when the business is open, and the business will open again, we are basically inundated with everything that we have to do, and come home and deal with everything else. So the difference now is we are in the environment that we're not changing environment, we're in the same house. But when we have got the business, you still got to time manage yourself, because we're going to talk a little bit about what stops us. But definitely as a principle, we've got to understand that if you do kind of open yourself up to time management and you are ready for it, you'll find that it's extremely empowering. Now, I've got a lot of people, like I said, either they glaze over or they tell me, but I've read all the books. There's a brilliant book called Eat That Frog, which is by Brian Tracy. You must order it. It's all about, how to do the task you don't want to do first. It's an excellent book. I've learned time management in my, I dare to say, my 20s, because of my boss and in Clarence, who was basically telling me, look, you need to really start organizing yourself. I was organized before, but you need to start looking at your to-do list differently, because I felt really overwhelmed. I felt like I never finished my to-do list, and I felt like I could never finish it. So the number one principle of the to-do list is you will never finish it. It will never be finished. You will always have a to-do list. And even if you finish it, you're going to wake up in the morning and you're going to have another load to do because something else happened. I remember in my days at Bliss, I used to come to Bliss. I had 50 staff members. I walked down to the office. I had 15 good morning, which generated 15 conversation, which generated 30 things to do on top of my 80 things to do on my to-do list. So when you look at that, when you look at the amount of things, and it doesn't really matter how big your team is, it really doesn't matter, because if in essence, when you are working with a smaller team or on your own, it's all on your shoulder. You're on your own. It's all about you and your shoulders, because you can't really delegate. So I don't think it matters how big teams are. I don't think it matters. It matters about you and how you operate and what you want to happen within your life. So it goes back a little bit to what you said last week, your session with Ryan last week on creating goals. if you don't have your goals, if you don't really quite know where you're going, you're going to be in that wheel, isn't it? In that spinning wheel, like a hamster, not really being able to kind of see anything that is going to empower you anymore. You're going to might be joining all sorts of things, but actually you're feeling even more overwhelmed. I talk to so many clients who basically tell me, I open my laptop, I just don't know where to start. And we start with time management. Let's organize you. Let's make sure that your time management is on point. So it goes back to the goals, what you want to achieve by the end of the year. Yeah, you can have a 5-year goal, but at least the end of the year, what you want to achieve, how are we going to make that happen? And then let's dissect it. Let's dissect it. That one of my favorite friends' sentence in the UK was how to eat an elephant, in small bite chunks.
Yeah.
Dissect that to-do list. You can't just write, I need to, let's say I'm creating a new launch. I need to launch these new products in my salon in July. Okay, so what does that entail? Launching products takes a big thing in a salon. It's got I can give you about 40 different things under the headline of what to do before it even happens. So we dissect the to-do list. So if you have 30 things on your to-do list, I guarantee you with me by the end of it, you probably have 90. Okay, because we dissect. So you're probably thinking, like, what? But actually, when you dissect it, you can then look at what you can do on a weekly basis to eat that elephant. So that in July, your products are launched. You've just got to press a button, it's all done.
Yeah.
So once we dissect it, once we look at it, we're then able to prioritize. And priority is another big thing. But, for me, the time management is really to get things done. It eliminates guilt and frustration. How many people do we talk to? And you was on the same, you and Ryan say the same in terms of the comparison, she's doing that, I'm not doing that, I should have, could have, would have, and I didn't, all these words that make you feel really powerless. And actually you on your journey, they are on their journey. So let's make your journey count. And the only way it's going to count is if you are on top of what you want to achieve. So it goes back to your goal setting and it goes back to managing that huge to-do list.
Yeah. And I think this is it, isn't it? Is that we're all sitting here at the beginning of another lockdown. We don't know exactly how long it's going to last. We'll get reviews throughout, which will give us a little bit of guidance. But that time's going to pass regardless, isn't it? That time's going to happen. So we can choose to use it to our best advantage, or we can choose it to watch everything on Netflix that, is on our to-do list on Netflix. We can try and do a bit of both. We can try and, if we try and allocate some time to the most important elements of our lives, those goals that we want to achieve, even if it's a small window every day. I mean, you can achieve a lot in half an hour and an hour, can't you? If you focus and you turn your phone off and you get your head down and you really work on something, you can actually get so much done.
Yes. And that's the key, actually, to kind of, a couple of things you've just mentioned. I have a friend of mine who said to me, oh, I bet you put it on your spreadsheet when you have, when you want to have a day off or when you want to go shopping and stuff. Well, I kind of do, because if I decide on a Sunday that I want to chill out and I want to watch the whole of Netflix, there's some brilliant series at the moment, I don't feel guilty. I don't feel guilty because I'm on top of everything. So I can relax in the whole time management element because I'm on top of it. So therefore, when I do watch Netflix, there's no guilt, no frustration or anything like that. And it's a matter of really being able to kind of feel empowered by yourself. The only way you are going to empower yourself is by yourself. You've got to kind of get to that contrast, that concept that time management will help you to be feeling a lot more on top of things, and will be feeling that you are creating your dream and what you want to achieve. And that in itself is hugely empowering. We've got to make sure that the what we have set out to do, we're feeling that we're chipping away at it. We're on it. I'm chipping away at it and I'm on it, and it's getting there. So the guilt, the frustration, the watching Netflix and everything else is fine. When I want to spend time with my daughters, I don't want to start thinking, oh, I should have, I could have, I would have, I didn't. I don't want to think any of that. I want to enjoy my time and be present in that moment. So I have a friend of mine, a really good friend of mine, who's very creative. And when I kind of first spoke to her, I kind of thought, my God, she's the polar opposite, like creativity. Not that I'm not creative, it's just she's chaotic, creativity.
Like
She's
me.
just yeah, a bit, yes. It's literally everywhere, like shooting everywhere, one idea a minute, and it's kind of great because that's how you function. It's amazing. But it can become a little bit tiring every now and then, and it can become a little bit kind of unfocused. So I kind of started a program with her on time management, and obviously glazed over, not really wanting to. No, I'm not sure. Yes, I do need to, blah, blah, blah. And very worried about not being able to be creative. And a lot of managers that I speak to, a lot of time, like, oh, if you time manage myself, I'm just never going to be able to just do what I want to do. But actually, what I will say to you is I'm going to find you more time to be creative and not feel guilty about it. Go and be messy and do whatever you want to do. It doesn't matter. I don't think you need to be a certain type where, everything needs to be minimalistic and everything needs to be, waking up at 4 and doing this. I don't think it needs to be that, but it needs to be very much structured. Anyway, she sent me at the beginning of our session this whole article about Steve Jobs not believing in time management and, wanting to be creative and therefore not really kind of dealing with any of the time management. And I kind of replied to her, I said, yeah, I bet he doesn't, but I bet he's got about 15 PAs literally typing everything that he's got as ideas and doing it for him. I guarantee you they are on time management, and I guarantee you they are going to be behind him creating what he wants to create. Now, if you are Steve Jobs and you can afford to do that, then please do that and be that. Absolutely, but we're not. We are managing every single day difficulties, definitely the last year, and even this lockdown in the UK. I think, yes, we say it's very frustrating. I found the word that kept coming back was heartbreaking. I felt a lot of people got heartbroken over, the London in particular, when we closed a week before Christmas. It was like, I'm just heartbroken. I'm just had enough. I'm like, so how do we find that motivation again? It's finding that kind of mojo back and feeling that, do you know what? Yeah, I'm going to focus. What we need to remember is you can be creative when you time manage yourself. You can be even more creative because you've got more time and you feel better because you're unleashing all of this guilt and frustration and everything else. But when you're getting rid of those feelings, but when you are time managing yourself, I feel that, that empowerment comes back, and that empowerment comes from you. And that is so powerful. So feeling heartbroken, feeling fed up and everything else, there's some serious questions that need to be asked. And I've had some serious conversations since, a week before Christmas. There was like, look, do you want to carry on or not? There's not 3 million solutions. If you're going to carry on, we're going to have to work on how we're going to get you there, how we're going to get you on top of that feeling. Otherwise, fine, you can stop your business today. It's not a problem. Nothing is a problem. There's always a solution. But then what? What is the next stage? So how do we manage that expectation? So I think we tend to, with social media, with the pressure of the world, with feeling a little bit like, oh, here we go again, we tend to go to kind of have a mindset that is perhaps a little bit unfocused. And the minute that happens is where the frustration, the guilt, and etc. becomes too overpowering. So what I do is get rid of that. Let's get rid of that. Let's cut to the chase. I was going to say, let's cut to the crap and just really go into it and see, what do you want? If you had a magic wand, what do you want by the end of the year? Is it to still be in your business? If you do, then we need to work on your leadership sort of skill, So feeling empowered and understanding the power of time management, is perhaps the biggest key that you will change, because it will take you 3 months minimum. That's another thing as well, Hollie. People are looking at me like, 3 months. Like, I want you to do
I'm looking at you like that. Like, what? I can't learn this in a half an hour video. That's not acceptable, Valerie.
You can learn it in an hour and a half. I've got all the tools and everything online, which is what we're giving away. You can definitely learn the system. You can read the book. And a lot
in
of people have done time management. Oh yeah, I've read the book. Yes. So are you doing it? How did you feel when you was doing it? Oh, great. I felt amazing. So what's happening now? Well, we're at home. So, it's just kind of go back to the default system, to what we know. So
yeah,
creating a habit takes 66 days to form a habit. So 3 months, you have that habit and you will be on top of that habit. So you can learn everything, but applying it is a different matter, isn't it?
well, that's it. Implementation is key. Talk is
It-
cheap. Implementation is key. We actually have that sticker up in our cabin in the garden. And for somebody like me, who is a chaotic, creative person, like I said, Ryan's super organized. I'm like a whirlwind. And it is really interesting to hear this, because I can imagine a lot of people sitting there who are salon owners are probably similar to myself. Some are similar to you. And those similar to myself will be thinking, oh my God, this just sounds so ordered and organized. But I love that you really make that space for creativity, and you explain that there is absolutely always a space for it. But what you can do, and I'm sure lots of people feel guilty of this as well, is that when you are very creative, you do tend to think of 3 million things an hour. I mean, I wake up in the night and I come up with an entire new business model, which is
yeah.
absolutely nothing to do with the salon world. And Ryan comes in the morning, and I say, because he's up way before I am, because I sleep more. And then he comes in, he says, wake up. And I say, I've got this idea. Right, we're going to buy an old aeroplane and we're going to do this and we're going to do that. And he's like, what are you talking about? And he has to sort of bring me back down. I think that's partly what comes with this creative mind, is that there's a lot of ideas shooting off in all directions, like you say about your friend. You're constantly thinking, I could do this, I could do this, I could do this, I could do this, I could do this. But you're right, it all comes back to that core of, actually, let's just bring it all back. What's the things that I need to work on now? What are the important things? What's going to get me closer to where I want to get? And ultimately, of course, I always lose all these other ideas and come back to the core of, what I do and what I love. But it applies to any part of your life, doesn't it? I'm going to try a new diet. I'm going to try a new fitness regime. I'm going to try and shift around the kids' homeschooling time. I'm going to start taking the dog out at a different time, and everything. If you try things new all the time, that's great, but you need to have some kind of system in place to make sure you're covering all the things that you need to cover.
It's all about follow-up and consistency, and leadership, when you lead other people, is follow-up and consistency anyway. So it's applying to you. And when I create, so the second kind of biggest thing that we need to look at when we look at time management is the organization. So when I create the whole kind of element of time management, it's about really organizing yourself. Now, the one idea a minute, I've got an idea a minute as well sometimes. I remember when I had a day off last year, my day off last year, the lovely Laura.
One had a day off.
Laura and Amy, who's on my team, are like, please don't come back with any ideas. We can't cope. We've got to channel, because you're passionate and you want to you want things to happen. I want to empower as many people as possible. But when it goes back to the core of it, I think it's really, really understanding what is it that I want. And if you don't know what you want, because a lot of people we meet are overwhelmed, then let's go back to what you perhaps kind of need to focus on in order to have a successful year. On a financial level, perhaps on a mindset level. So that's also a goal. So it's really defining that and kind of cutting out all of the negativity around you and making sure that you really are focused. Because when you channel that energy and that creativity, actually, you are coming up. She came up with some incredible ideas, and that she's doing now, because she's been channeled. She's just a lot more on top of things, and feeling on top of your business, feeling on top of your to-do list, feeling on top of your achievement makes you feel like you can achieve anything. You can have 5 different projects, you can have 10. I've got 15 different projects going on, but it's making sure that you are able to follow up and you are putting your mind where it belongs when you need it, because otherwise that's when you're shooting everywhere and you end up going nowhere, and that's when we feel deflated and everything else. So at the moment we feel heartbroken, we feel a little bit overwhelmed. We're like, what can I learn? Yet again, I'm kind of back to square one. So there's that kind of feeling of a little bit like, oh, but we are going to open again. And when we open, we want you. And, that's why you both have the same kind of vision as me, in terms, we want you to be ready, because when you open this door, we want you to feel that perhaps you're functioning in a different way that you've ever functioned before, that makes you feel that you can stay at home looking after the kids whilst the staff is working in the business, because that's your predicament. You're the owner. And maybe you are someone who's working on their own. How can you grow so you don't feel that maybe you need to do 6 days a week? Maybe you can't do as much money with 4 days a week. Have you ever thought of that? So that goes back to the budget and the leadership and the time management of your. It's one thing, that you have to do when you organize yourself. And Hollie, maybe you have, maybe you haven't. I haven't asked you beforehand. One to-do list, one diary, one. That's it. Not, oh, I've got one for when I do this, or I've got one for when I do training, or I've got one for my personal stuff. No, your to-do list is your personal and your professional to-do list together.
Okay, so it doesn't count if I've got one on my own iPhone, one on Trello, then a sort of a pad beside me where I'm scribbling things down. Okay, noted. We're coming to the end, unfortunately, of our time, Valerie, which I don't know how the half an hour has gone so fast.
We've not even gone into it, have we?
I know. It has been absolutely packed with awesome information. I'm going to be carrying some stuff away from here. Now, as we mentioned at the beginning of the call today, Valerie has extremely kindly offered to give away access to one of her online time management courses, which is extremely kind of her. So what I think it's going to be best for us to do is pop this out far and wide. So anybody who watches this video across the next 24 hours, and we get some wonderful views on the Timely platform here, I want you to just pop in the comments box, in order to win this, I just want you to pop in the comments box, I love Timely. Okay, I want you to write I love Timely in the box below this video. Anytime you watch it in the next 24 hours, so up until 11 a.m. on Wednesday morning. And Valerie's going to go and pick a lucky winner. She'll reach out to you after 11 o'clock tomorrow, and she will donate very, very kindly, give away access to one of her fabulous courses. I'm even going to enter for this because I think I probably benefit from it as well. I just like the opportunity to say thank you so much, Valerie. We could have spoken literally for hours here.
It's like the beginning. I think we've spoken for 5 minutes, but there's so much to say on time management. Maybe we'll do a little clubhouse to kind of discuss a bit more on time management, but look into it, but stop. Just don't stop. Keep going at time management, because the more you do it, the more it becomes a habit. And the more it becomes a habit, the more you will find that you are empowered every day and you wake up feeling that you want to achieve that to-do list. One to-do list, personal, professional, together.
One to-do list. I'm going to remember this. I'm going to hear it in your voice telling me.
My voice, one.
Your beautiful French accent. I'm gonna hear that over and over again. Look, Valerie, thank you so much. For anybody that doesn't already connect with Valerie, please find her on Facebook, follow her. She's a very, very fabulous, as you can see, a kind, warm, welcome lady with a hell of a lot of information to share. And she is a huge, huge part of our industry. She's massively instrumental here in the UK. Like I said, she's a friend of Timely, she's a friend of Ryan and I's and our Salonology brand. So Valerie, thank you so much. Don't forget to put I love Timely in the comments so Valerie can pick a lucky winner. We've already got loads of people writing this in the comments box, guys. You'll all be in with a chance of winning. Now join me next week. I'm going to be live a little bit earlier. I'm going to be live at 8:30 a.m. next Tuesday, and the reason we're going to be early is because I have a special guest from the other side of the globe with me, and not only is he based in New Zealand, but he's also the CEO of this fabulous brand of Timely. Ooh. I've managed to get him onto a live call with me, and we're going to be talking all about storytelling and putting yourself out in front of your own brand in order to help it grow so you can connect with your audience at a much deeper level. It's something I'm massively passionate about. Ryan Baker, the CEO of Timely, he's a really fabulous guy with a lot to share and a lot to say, and I'd love you guys to all meet who's behind this absolutely wonderful booking software as well. So I'm really excited about that. Make sure you set your alarms to come and join us 8:30 next Tuesday. I'll be up super early ready for that one. So again, Valerie, thank you for joining us. I love Timely in the comments to be in with the chance of winning her online digital time management course. And I will see you all again soon. Have a happy, wonderful Tuesday, everybody. I'm just gonna click us off and wish you all a wonderful day.
Do get in touch if you need.
Lovely. Thank you, everybody, and we'll see you again.